And speaking of all things autism, it's Gateway 97.8, all things autism in Essex for July. And Anna Kennedy OBE is in the studio with me. But Anna, we're going to be chatting to Claude, who's covered the Claude's SEN law, which has gone round as well.
That's right. So I'm looking forward to chatting to Claude. Is he with us at the
minute?
He
is with us right now. Hello, Claude.
Hello, good morning, and thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon. Hello, Claude. Just a little bit of background for anyone who's listening in today, and it's a 23-year-old student, youth delegate and philanthropist from London who believes in a decent standard of education to be delivered as a result of the own challenges, still been denied an education from 2017 till now, which is 4 years of lost provision. I'm so sad to hear this, Claude. So can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a 23-year-old now, and it's been a situation where I still await for a placement, and it's been a case that a name placement hasn't been agreed by the local authority. It was agreed by the court hearing, and I went to a tribunal. But the local authority did not still yet to this day don't want to name it in Part I of my educational healthcare plan.
It's tragic, really, Claude, especially when you've been campaigning it on social media. So like Instagram in particular here, that you've done a long video to explain why people need to sign a petition. And this is something that someone with, like, as you mentioned, neurodiversity, which you're campaigning for. And it's sad to see someone like yourself not having the education.
Very much so, and it's unfortunate that we are in a society where there's a lack of education of neurodiverse, and it's wonderful when you have campaigners like myself and many other people as well who campaign for the education of neurodiverse and an inclusive world, because we are entitled to being accommodated and being understood, and also for other people to understand that we have qualities that are worth being accommodated for.
Can I ask what you've been doing since 2017, and also what are your interests? What would you like to do?
Sure. So in the time, I've been creating a petition, and I've also created a book that everyone could read my actual story to, that they're aware of what my journey's been like, and it's important that, you know, everyone's aware of it. And also I've created some T-shirts that says the hate Claudes SEN law, and also have a slogan, signature uniqueness, because as neurodiverse, we are creatively minded and we are unique. So I created those, you could say, resources as a way of bringing the awareness, and in that time campaigning for an inclusive world and been getting the message out there, because what I found is if we don't make the change, then change won't be acted and adhered by important people in power. And of course, in power, we don't have representation as what we could. My aspirations as well is getting to uni, but having the opportunity to do my GCSEs, to have that door open to me and make that door open for many other people, because you have to pay for education at that time of my age when you are a plus 18, and that's not really right, because it shows that the inequality.
Can I ask the name of your book in case people who are listening in might like to read a copy?
No problem. It's called The Truth Behind Self-Isolation and Lockdown and My Educational Journey.
And where can you get it from?
You can find it on my social media at _Claude_2020 on Instagram, and you can find it on Twitter. I am _Claude and then 25, but you can find it underneath the #Claudes SEN law, and you'll find it in my link in bio.
It's interesting that you wrote a book here, Claude. Obviously, it looks at the background on neurodiversity here, but does it also look back on the background of the how the petition started in some aspects as well, alongside neurodiversity awareness?
Yes, it shows what my journey was, and it also showed why I created the petition, and it also gives an idea of how you can support it as well. So
Can I ask why you think that the shortfall of provision has happened to you? What do you think the problem is?
I think, well, first and foremost, there's a lack of education. And then two, there is that kind of shortfall within funding that there's been years of neurodiverse and SEN families that have sadly been, you could say, shortfall because of investment going to other placements, so other areas. So like, for example, even within this pandemic and within the amount of wars that we've had. And I think that it's so important that we know where the funding goes to. And that's why I also, it's an important point for me to say that I'm also think that the personal budget, and I've been asking for a personal budget from 2017 and I still haven't been given it. So it's this fact of the kind of, you could say, not being inclusive and not also delivering for us. And I do feel that they find us as a threat because we learn in a different way. And we do make the money worthwhile because we do very well. And it's this fact of, you could say, moving the goalposts all the time. I've been through all the processes, but it's like, it's always been moved. And there's always been this situation that we don't have funding. However, at that time when I didn't have funding, they never asked the families to support them. And there's this kind of, you could say, continuous failing. So yes, and then also myself being black as well, I think it's even more of a challenge. And this is why we still live in a society, unfortunately, where institutional racism and discrimination still does exist, unfortunately.
He's right on that one as well. So because of recent events and what happened with the Euro final the weekend as well.
I just couldn't get my head around that at all. I must be naive because I didn't think that sort of thing still went on. And after the game and everything that happened, it was just like, it was mind-blowing for me. So what do you think needs to change, Claude? What do you think? Or do you think some people are of a mindset that you just can't, they're just not going to change their I don't know, I just can't even begin to comprehend what they're thinking. And the other thing, can I just want to say, the other thing is, what is it that change was within their mind as they're growing up is to think, yeah, this is okay to do this. When does that happen? I just don't get it. Do you think it's sort of instilled within the family, or I just don't know?
I think it's so important to travel. It's so important to learn people's, you could say, you know, traveling is quite a key point, and also education. And I think because of education is so old and it's a system that is not in the modern 21st century of a multicultural society that we're living in right now, that is one of the big issues. And I think it's society more than actual social media. I think it's the way that people, of course, think, and I think it's what they haven't been, you could say, open to in the fact of their own environment. And I think certain people's environment has been very close-knit, might have valid reasons. However, it's so important that if you understand and educate yourself, you will be able to understand, like, not to probably be, you could say, judgmental. Also in the point that hidden disabilities, I found that even within the personal independence payment system, that it's a disability, the discrimination for people with hidden disability and epilepsy. And these conditions don't even get the light or platform that they need to. And I think it comes from society. It also comes from the systems that are in place and of how they are structured. The creative industry, we've seen how that's been impacted so badly, and it's not been considered to get the support that it needs. When creative industry is so beneficial for many people like myself and many other people of, you know, qualities who may have talents in creative and academic. Luckily, I'm a person that do love the academic. However, I do feel that the education system does need urgently reformed. It's not up to date to the modern society that we live in.
I was actually shocked today when you were talking about benefits, that I read an article in The Guardian and on Department Work of Pension Policy of cold calling disabled people over benefit claims to end. So the Department Work of Pension backed down before a legal challenge by a claimant who felt pressured into accepting a lower benefit offer. I just thought, what? And the Department for Work and Pensions has agreed to change its controversial policy, of cold calling vulnerable and disabled people and trying to persuade them to accept lower benefit claims than they are legally entitled to. I had to read that twice because I just couldn't believe what I was reading.
It's shocking, though. Even we're hearing it today, and this is something that is this something that can happen, Claude, with like future education and education hoping to be better?
Definitely, and I believe that education needs to be about education, because I think these names like, for example, the Education Healthcare Plan that was brought in by David Cameron, it brought more, you could say, unbenefits than benefits, in the fact that it combines health when education has, sadly, I feel, has become a commodity, and it's not like about the heart of education. So yes, I believe that we can live in an inclusive world. I believe that we can live in a diverse world, and a world that's educated, if the fact of representation being there, and also people like myself and many other campaigners bringing that voice for action and putting that urgent pressure in the fact of how urgent this matter is.
So, Claude, if the listeners want to find out more about your petition here, the Claudes SEN law, and want to sign up, I think it was running up till last month, if I understand. Where can our listeners find out about the SEN law that you've started?
Sure. So they can visit my socials at A_Claude_2020 on Instagram, and they can also follow the hashtag Claudes SEN law. That's on all social media platforms, and you will be able to visit my link in bio, because you'll see associated posts that will give information about how to add your signature, and also how to join the Claudes SEN law challenge, where you write a placard that says the hashtag Claudes SEN law, and you can post it and you can spread the word on social as well after you've signed this petition.
And what we'll also do is on Gateway Blog. Sorry to interrupt there. I was just going to say, what happens is, obviously a recording of this will be shared on the Gateway Blog. We will actually put a link on there, so if people would like to sign, if they haven't got a pen handy, because you know what it's like when you're looking for a pen trying to write down what's been said, we'll put the link on the blog for you, so hopefully it will generate more signatures.
Thank you, and it was really much appreciated being on here. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for taking the time out.
It's an absolute pleasure, Claude, to have you on today to chat all things autism, and also about your SEN law, and keep up with the campaigning, yeah?
Thank you very much.
Have
a wonderful day, both of you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye.